Yes, GS Paul again. I hope you remember where I left you the last time. Just to recapitulate what we have done already. I had told you that digested food is absorbed and gets into the blood. So we have brought the digestive food, the soluble constituents of food, into the blood. And then we started the blood vascular system. That is the going around of the digested food for its uses in the whole of the body. Now, in the blood vascular system, I told you what is blood. I told you what is heart and blood vessels, the arteries and the veins. I told you the heart pumps the blood to all parts of the body, and the blood vessels which take the blood to all parts of the body constitute what is called as arteries. And all the arteries of the whole body constitute what is called arterial system that we had done last time. And arterial system takes the blood to all parts of the body which has the nutrients. Now I would like to add in today's lesson that along with the digested food, I made the nutrients in the food. There is another thing which is being carried by the blood, and that is oxygen. And it is because of this oxygen that blood is red in color. So what we have already seen is the blood has taken all the constituents of body with oxygen to different parts of the body, the arterial system. Now we have to bring back this blood which has gone to all parts of the body. And I have already told you this process of taking the blood to all parts of the body and bringing the blood back from different parts of the body to the heart is called circulation of blood. Now, today we are going to bring all the blood that has gone to different parts of the body. Now, here I have to add that along with the blood which comes back to the heart, the blood brings waste products and carbon dioxide back to the heart. Because of the presence of this waste products and carbon dioxide, the color of the blood is not that bright red, but it is slightly different in color because of the presence of the carbon dioxide. Now, because we have to bring the blood back to the heart, so we have to start where the blood has gone. And you remember, with the help of arterial system, the blood has gone to all parts of the body from the toe to the head. So we bring the blood back from the toes and from the head. Now, bringing the blood back from the toes, there are blood vessels which collect the blood vessel from the different parts of the feet. These are going to be called as veins because the blood vessels which bring blood back to the heart are called the veins. And the whole system that you see here is venous system. Now, so starting the blood from the toes, blood is collected from the foot to the lower part of the legs by means of these two blood vessels called the posterior tibial vein and the anterior tibial vein. That means from the inner side and the outer side of the lower leg. This is the lower leg. And these two blood vessels combine together to form a bigger blood vessel, which is called the femoral vein. The femoral vein collects the blood from the region of the femur. And as it comes in the region of the pelvis, both these femoral veins join together to form, the femoral veins are called the iliac veins, the external iliac and the internal iliac. The two iliacs combine together to form the common iliac. So one common iliac this side and one common iliac this side and the other side. So the blood from the lower region below the pelvis is collected and both the iliacs join together to form a big blood vessels, quite big here. Starts from here up to the right auricle of the heart. This blood vessel is called the posterior vena cava or the precaval. No, the postcaval. The postcaval then receives a blood vessel each from the gonads, the gonadal veins. And above this, it receives a blood vessels from the kidneys called a renal vein. So the renal veins also open into the inferior vena cava. Then it rises, the vena cava rises up and receives blood vessels from the liver. These blood vessels from the liver are called hepatic veins. Now the liver also receives blood from the different parts of the alimentary canal. What I mean is the stomach, the duodenum, the intestines, and the lower part of the intestines. These three blood vessels called splenic from the stomach and spleen, inferior mesenteric, that means from the lower part of the alimentary canal, and superior mesenteric, which means from the upper part of the alimentary canal. These blood vessels join together to form a big blood vessel which opens into the liver. This blood vessel which opens into the liver is called hepatic portal vein. So we have to understand what is the hepatic portal vein. The venous blood from the alimentary canal comes into the liver and it opens like that and splits up like that. These blood vessels join together in the liver to form a hepatic vein. This system, this process, where the veins come into the organ and split up and then rejoin to form the bigger vein, is called the portal system. So here, this is the portal system. So from the liver, the blood gets into the postcaval through these main blood vessels called the hepatic veins, one from each side of the liver. Now by this time, the postcaval has received all the blood vessels from the different parts of the body, and it makes now what is called as inferior vena cava or the postcaval. The inferior vena cava or the postcaval then opens into the right auricle here. So the blood from the lower parts of the body has come into the right auricle through a big blood vessel called the postcaval or the inferior vena cava. Now we have to bring blood back from the region above the heart, I mean the upper part of the body. So we start from the head. There are two blood vessels called the external jugular and the internal jugular, which collect the blood from the inner part of the brain and the outer side of the brain on left side as well as on right side. Now both these blood vessels on each side open up into a blood vessel which collects blood from the limb. Here it is. And this blood vessel is called the subclavian. But the branch which receives this blood vessel is called the brachiocephalic. Mind you, this blood vessel is called brachiocephalic as it receives blood, the jugular veins, from the head region. And this blood vessel is called the subclavian when it is in the region of the clavicle bone. The subclavian blood vessel is formed from, I will start from this side. These two blood vessels in the region of the arm, the one is called the radial and the other is called the ulnar. These two blood vessels, the ulnar and the radial, combine together to form what is called brachial. Brachial is in the region of the upper arm, the brachial. The brachial then, when it passes in the region of the subclavian bone, is called the subclavian vein. And the portion of the subclavian or this brachial vessel, when it passes through the armpit, this is called the axial vein, and it collects the blood from the upper arm. This subclavian vein from both the sides come and join to form these two blood vessels, which are called the brachiocephalic and brachiocephalic. Both these brachiocephalic combine together to form this big blood vessel called the superior vena cava. So, with the help of superior vena cava collecting blood from the upper part of the body and inferior vena cava collecting blood from the lower part of the body, both these vena cavae open into the right auricle. So the blood has come back now into the right auricle. I have to add here that in addition to these blood vessels, there are two blood vessels on each side. The one is called thoracic internal. This is thoracic internal, which collects the blood from the region of the chest, the muscles in between the ribs, called the intercostal muscles. And so this is here. And there's another blood vessel which starts almost from the region of the femur, in the region of the upper leg, and collects blood from the upper leg, this side, and then from the abdomen here, and it goes up and opens into the subclavian. It opens into the subclavian from the both sides. So the blood is collected to bring back from the region of the thigh, the region of the abdomen on both the sides, and the blood vessel which collects this blood is called thoracico-epigastric. That means the blood vessel which is collecting blood from the thoracic region and the epigastric region opens up into the subclavian. Thus, the entire blood which has gone to all parts of the body has been brought back by the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava into the right auricle. Now, the blood which has gone into the lungs is brought back by the two blood vessels from the each lung, the left pulmonary and the right pulmonary. Both these two blood vessels join together to form one blood vessel. Not one blood vessel, both of these open separately into the left auricle. And thus the blood which has gone to the lungs comes back into the left auricle. And the whole blood which has gone to all parts of the body has now come back into the right auricle and the left auricle. Now, from the two auricles, as we have already seen, the blood is pumped from the auricles into the respective ventricles. The blood from the right auricle comes into the right ventricle through tricuspid valve, and blood from the left auricle comes into the left ventricle through bicuspid valve or the mitral valve. Now, that is all about veins, the blood vessels bringing blood back into the heart. Now, what is coming back into the heart, or what is being brought back by the venous system, has to be seen. Each blood vessel, when it goes to different parts of the body, it brings oxygen and nutrients, and around each organ of the body or each part of the body, this blood vessel breaks up into smaller branches. And the smaller branches, these are arterioles. In the wall between the space and the material present inside the blood vessels is very thin. The wall of the arterioles is very thin, attentively, in such a way that the nutrients and the oxygen passes out into the lymph, into the fluid which is around all parts of the body. Now these things go in, gets out of the blood vessel, and the waste products present in those organs are around those organs, and carbon dioxide comes into the blood. These blood vessels are called venules. These are thin-walled blood vessels, capillaries. So in this region, nutrients and oxygen is given out, and at the same time, the carbon dioxide and waste products are taken back into the blood. So the blood that goes out at the end of each artery and received by the vein has carbon dioxide and waste products. And mind you, the color of the blood here is bright red, and here it is dark red in color. And this blood which comes back, the venous blood, so the exchange of gases and materials take place at the end of each blood vessel. So this carbon dioxide and waste products are brought back into the heart, into the auricles, of course. And we have already seen that this blood which comes into the auricles and gets out of the ventricles to the different parts of the body, gets out of the heart through ventricle. We have already seen that is the arterial system, and we have brought back the venous blood into the heart. That completes the blood vascular system, and that completes the whole blood vascular system. The components are the blood, the heart, the blood vessels, that means arteries and veins. Now, that finishes the blood vascular system. That means we have now seen, be careful, we have now seen how the digested food, or the nutrients of the food get into the blood, and how this blood takes those constituents of food to different parts of the body to be utilized. We have already seen what are the uses of the nutrients. And then we have now seen the blood brings back the waste products and the carbon dioxide which is produced. Now, how this carbon dioxide is produced, how this oxygen is used, is the next chapter. That is respiratory system. We shall see this later. That is called exchange of gases. I mean, internal respiration. So the next chapter that we are going to start is respiration. Mind you, I have connected the digestive system with the blood vascular system. And blood vascular system now I have connected with the respiratory system. So what I am trying to put across is that all these things are interconnected, and you have to actually understand it. How do you understand? Understand that you have eaten the food. Understand that the food that you have eaten has been digested. Realize that the food that has been digested has been absorbed into the blood. And the blood has come back into the heart. And the heart has pumped the blood to all parts of the body with nutrients and, of course, the oxygen. And then this blood, which has been sent to all parts of the body, is brought back by means of veins, the venous system, into the heart. And the exchange of gases and materials have taken place at the end of each blood vessel. And this exchange of gases and the waste product and the nutrients is now being connected with the respiratory system. That is how oxygen comes and carbon dioxide goes. We will next time take up the respiratory system. Now, before I really end, I will say again that whatever I am saying is actually has to be understood, and there might be some questions coming into your mind. And whatever the question comes into your mind, please write down those questions in the section of comments. And all those questions that you write in the comments, I will look up those questions and answer them. I'm sure there will be quite a few questions. So don't forget putting your questions in the section of comments. And I hereby put across an assignment for you where you have to slightly apply your own mind. So there are two assignments. Number one, differentiate between the artery and a vein. These are the veins. These are the veins and the arteries we have already seen. What is the difference between these two blood vessels? Arteries and veins. And then, what is the difference between the blood in the arteries and the blood in the veins? I mean, arterial blood and venous blood. I would like you to deal with these two assignments and submit these two assignments next time when we meet. Thank you very much.